Well, welcome in, everybody. This is Pucks from the Pine Tree Pod. I am your host, Benjamin Kennedy. I am coming to you all tonight from Concord, New Hampshire. Random hotel room, getting my work week started. But happy to be back with y'all this evening. Been a few days since I did my Toronto season preview, so wanted to get back with everybody. I had just a lovely weekend with my kiddo. He's back with Mama tonight and doing well. So I've got a little bit of time now to come back and be with all you fine people on the internets. Somber news today, starting with Dikembe Mutombo. We all learned today he passed away from brain cancer. So very sad news there. I think he was 58 or 59 years old. So sad news. I know that was announced a few months ago that he had contracted, had the cancer, and so just be with prayers for his family and his friends and all those affected by that. And then later today, of course, we learn of the passing of Pete Rose, 83 years old. Controversial, legendary. He was just such a huge star in his day. And for us old baseball guys, definitely a legend. And very sad day for just the world of sports, sad day for basketball, sad day for baseball, and just sad day for those, family members and friends. I mean, beyond sports, right? This is less about sports and more about those people who are losing, loved ones and people they care about. So prayers to those families and friends of Dikembe Mutombo and Pete Rose. Hard to move on from that, but we're going to try. We're going to talk about Jeremy Swayman. I'm wearing my UMaine hockey hat tonight. We have a little news, I guess. Shots fired. Holy smokes, do we have shots fired today? Boston Bruins having their kind of opening season presser today with the crew, Jacobs and Cam Neely, Don Sweeney, and of course Coach Montgomery all up there as they do. And of course, our media guys do their job and they're asking questions and Jeremy Swayman is the biggest, talking point. Of course, has to be, right? Not done yet. All indicators all summer is like, this is going to happen. It's going to be done. I've been saying it all summer. It's going to be done. We're close. And then a couple weeks ago, there was a lot of smoke around. We're getting really close to something. And then Cam Neely has to drop the $64 million or 64 million reasons, I should say. Never said dollars, right? It said 64 million reasons. We all know what he meant. We all know what he meant. So I've taken a couple hours to just try to decompress, watched and read a lot of social media around this. Of course, I have my Black and Gold Productions boys who are all over this down there in Boston. Kind of talking to a few of those guys and getting a sense of their thoughts and musings around this because it's a heavy story. And we just all need to take a deep breath. I think we just need to take a deep breath. We need to kind of understand context. We need to understand context. First of all, this is negotiation. And when negotiations get a little hot, a little fiery, when you're getting kind of to that breaking point where it's September 30th, we're a week away essentially from the start of the season, where to the point where they've already announced Corpusello as a starter in Florida for an opening night. Who had that on the bingo card? Who had Jonas Corpusello starting in net in Florida to open the season? Not me. I didn't have that, but all indicators, obviously, it's looking like that's where we're going. So let's just take a deep breath. Let's look at some of the facts here. And I want to rewind the clock a little bit. and look back to this summer when Jeremy Swayman, he had some of his own kind of social media stuff out there. He had some different public appearances where he talked about the idea of resetting the market for goalies. In terms of the NHLPA and his responsibility, as part of that PA to make sure he gets enough of the bag to reset that standard and that number for goalies. I don't begrudge Swayman at all for wanting to go out and make as much money as he can. And I will never begrudge any player for wanting to make as much money as they can. They have a short window. It's a short career, and especially with goalies. I mean, the contrast from season to season is so crazy. Like, you go make the money when you can. When your stock is high, you go make the money. So I'm not going to sit here and begrudge him for trying to go out and make bank. I think most people would. But when you start to look at the agent that he has, a man by the name of Louis Gross, and you can look him up. He's a well-known NHL agent. Represented Torrey Krug, represented William Nylander of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and look up those stories. Krugy, was out the door out of Boston, in a heartbeat. Did not go well. I think Boston, had some interest in retaining him, and he, goes off to St. Louis, gets, his bag, and that happens. William Nylander, he sat out there in Toronto, missed. I'm going to get it wrong, but he missed a number of games. He missed a few weeks. I think he didn't come back until like November of that year when he was holding out. So they made a point. He did finally come back and sign, but so you got an agent who is well known for playing these kinds of games. That's how he is. Listen, he's working for his client. I have no problem with it. Genuinely, I don't have any problem with an agent going out working for his client. Not at all. Not at all. I don't want people to come out and say, "Oh, you're just a Bruin shill, and you're just a Cam Neely guy, or you're just a Don Sweeney guy." Anybody who knows me knows that I am more than happy to just eviscerate the teams I cheer for, because I do. I'm not always objective. I try to be very objective, though, when it comes to my own teams. But in this case, I have some concerns about what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, because everything we know about Jeremy Swayman and everything we have heard and seen and felt with him, this is not necessarily him. And you do wonder how much of this is him and how much of this is his agent, Louis Gross. And I think it's worthwhile asking that question tonight. Jeremy's been around the team this summer. He's been on the Orono campus. He's been in and around New England. Everything he's had to say is, I want to be a Bruin. I want to be here. I want to be committed to this team. So let's play this out. We know that the Bruins have about 8.6, 8.7 million under the cap. And there's all sorts of reports out there about him saying, I want, or this the reports are Swayman saying, well, $9 million, $10 million, $11 million. But that's what he's asking for. That's what his agent's asking for. So do you really think that someone like Jeremy Swayman, who says, I want to be part of this team, knowing that they only have about 8.6 under the cap, is going to actually go out there and ask for 9 or 10 or $11 million a year right now? So Swayman's basically going to ask the team, you're going to have to sign me for more than what you have available, and you're going to have to actually let go of some talent and make us a lesser team that can go out and win the Stanley Cup. That doesn't really sound like the Jeremy Swayman that we've come to know over these couple, 2-3 years he's been here. It just doesn't. It just doesn't to me. I know that money can affect people and change people. Listen, money is a root, not the root, but a root of a lot of evil. But I don't necessarily think that's Jeremy Swayman. I just don't. when you look at the William Nylander situation up in Toronto, go back and look up that story. It was one of my Black and Gold production guys. I called it out tonight. And it's good to remember this, that the way that contract whole negotiation thing ended for Toronto and William Nylander is William Nylander went directly to Kyle Dubas. For the first time, he went and had a direct conversation with Kyle Dubas, circumvented his agent, and went and had that conversation. And when he did, guess what? Deal got done. And William Nylander is a wonderful forward, one of the best in the game, and a big part of that Toronto organization. And it got done. It got done. If I'm a friend of Jeremy Swayman, or if I'm someone who is truly cares about him right now, I'm telling him, you may need to circumvent your agent right now. Not because you don't deserve the bag, because I do believe Jeremy Swayman's a top 5 goaltender. Some people say maybe he still has to prove this or that, or reach this benchmark or hit this hurdle. Totally get that. I totally get that. But I think he's got that top 5 talent. I do. And I think the Bruins probably feel that way too. And I feel like he does deserve the bag. And if what Cam Neely is saying is 8 times 8, 8 years over 8, $8 million over 8 years, that's I think a fair number. A couple other things I'll say about this. If Swayman thinks that he's the one that needs to reset the market for goaltenders, I will say he's wrong on that. I do think it's Igor Shesterkin. Sorry for that mispronunciation. New York Rangers goaltender Shesterkin. He's the one that's going to reset the market next season. I do think he is maybe the best goaltender in the league, and I think it's more on him to reset the market. That's not on Jeremy Swayman to reset the market. But I will say that Jeremy Swayman, if it's 7, if it's 7.5, if it's 8, if it's 8.5, I think that's very fine and good for who he is and what he is. And I think that'd be a very fair contract for all parties involved. And I think a lot of Bruins fans tonight probably think that way too. And I think probably Jeremy Swayman probably thinks that too. But you wonder how much of this is his agent, Louis Gross, and how much of this is actually coming from Jeremy Swayman. Knowing what we know, and that's all we can go on, because I'm not in the room, you're not in the room, none of us are in the room. We don't know what's being talked about. All we know is what we know of these players and these people, and none of this really strikes me as a Jeremy Swayman type of thing. None of this strikes me as, also we know that the Boston Bruins are always trying to get guys to take, team-friendly deals or whatever, but I also think the Bruins understand in trading Allmark and keeping that room, keep that 8.6, 8.7 that they have under the cap, was the plan, was to give him that money. And I think they want to give him that money. I don't think they want to give him 10. I don't think they want to give him 11 a year. They don't have it. You're going to have to lose a Morgan Geekie. You're going to have to lose a Trent Frederick. You're going to have to lose a Beecher, like one of those kind of guys like Austin Steen. Do you really want to do that? I don't think you do. So I would just say, Swayman, you hope he can just go back to his agent and say, like, listen, let's get this done. And let's go back to what Cam Neely said. I meant to circle back to that. I don't think I did. I don't think that Cam Neely in that presser today is throwing out the $64 million or $64 million reasons comment. Cam Neely knows what he's doing there. Now, we know that Cam is probably a little more fiery than a Don Sweeney. Like we've learned this over the years. But it's still very calculated, okay? Cam is not going to throw that out there if that number hasn't already been talked about. Because he knows what that number means. He knows what that means. He knows what Louis Gross is going to say. He knows what Jeremy's going to think. He knows what the fans are going to think. Like, that's a very calculated statement that he makes. That's not an off-the-cuff, fiery, emotional statement from Cam Neely. Not at all. That is a to-the-point, shot fired across the bow. You know what I know, and we know what you know, and you know what I know. And I'm going to kind of expose a little bit of it tonight. And that's exactly what Cam Neely did. Lewis Gross comes out and says what he says tonight about, well, we never heard that number, and we're going to take a few days to reassess. Yeah, I bet you're going to take a few days to reassess. You're taking a few days to reassess because you didn't expect Cam Neely to throw that over the bow. But he did. He did. Now you have to reassess. So my prediction, give it 3 or 4 days. Jeremy Swayman's going to sign an 8x8 deal, which is what we've been talking about for 12 weeks. How long have we been talking about this? Like 8x8, 7.5x8. Like it's been right around that number. I have no doubt that, because people like money. Gross likes money. Swayman's gonna like getting paid. And Swayman wants to play. Listen, I don't want to make it all about money with Swayman. Like, he's 25 years old. He wants to play. He is a passionate kid for hockey. We know he wants to play. Okay, and I hate this for him because I know so many Bruins fans are gonna just throw him under the bus and oh, he's just a greedy blah blah bleepity bleep 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 bleep. Listen, put yourself in his shoes. Put yourself in his shoes for a second. You're ascending goaltender in this league. Thought of as maybe definitely top 10, maybe a top 5 already in this league. Had the success you had a year ago. You're playing for an original 6, coming out of UMaine. Like, you would do the same thing. I would do the same thing. Okay. Now what we need is for the emotions to come down a little bit, the dust to settle. 8x8 works for everybody. I think it does. And I think it will eventually. Hopefully in 3 or 4 days. And that's at this point, that's my prediction. Again, he's an RFA. What does that mean? Restricted free agent. That means that if someone wants to try, and I think we're beyond RFA, like being able to make an offer on that, because we're it's September 30th now. I don't think you can still make those offers, but there would have to be a trade, and it would have to be agreed to by the Bruins. Like, Swayman doesn't have all the control on that, so the Bruins would have to agree to something. So if there's some sort of crazy wackadoo trade that happens, like the Bruins will have to be getting a ransom for him if that happens. I don't think it goes there. I still don't think it goes there. I know I've been saying this since June. Like, it's going to get done. It's going to get done. And guess what, guys? Tonight on September 30th, I didn't think I'd still be saying this, but I'm still going to say it. It's going to get done. It's going to get done. I can't wait to stop talking about this, though. I cannot wait to stop talking about this. So we're going to talk about other things now. So we'll move on. Yes, a little bit about the schedule coming up. Of course, it's been busy. It's been a busy few weeks, just personally with work and with hockey, with kiddo, with just family and all sorts of things. But I did get my Vancouver Canucks season preview recorded tonight. I'm waiting to get home tomorrow to be back in my office so I can do a full post-production on that, get that out. We're going to have Colorado and Carolina next over the next couple of days. I'm going to definitely be kind of, again, I have to spit these out now. We got eight to go before the season starts. So Colorado and Carolina will be after Vancouver this week. So those three will come out. On Friday, I have got my Boston Bruins season preview. And I've been holding off, hoping that the Jeremy Swayman thing would be all done. But on Friday, I'm going to be recording my Boston Bruins official season preview with Black and Gold podcast host, Sam Smith. He's going to be coming on with us, and it's going to be a wonderful episode. Sam is a broadcast major down at Team College, B&G Productions guy here with us. Knows a ton about the Bruins. I think you guys are going to love him. If you haven't heard him already, go check out his stuff as well. He's does just a great job out there. Young man, but knows a ton about hockey, knows a ton about the Boston Bruins. So he's a lovely voice in this market. And on, let's see, tomorrow. So tomorrow will be Tuesday. I will be releasing my next Mariners Hockey Report podcast on the Black and Gold Productions YouTube page, where we're going to be talking about player projections in terms of what I expect out of some of the players, at least, and we know will be with the team. And we know that ECHL, it's just the rosters rotate so frequently. We don't know who's coming or going, but we're going to do our best to try to highlight 7 or 8 players and give a little bit of a projection of what we think. Of course, we had tonight the Maine Mariners Town Hall meeting online with officially new owner Dexter Payne, along with Michael Keeley and Adam Goldberg, the president of the company, of the team, and that was lovely. They did a great job. A lot of good fan feedback and questions. And yeah, Portland's a small town, but man, it's a vibrant town. It's a very passionate fan base that the Mariners have. So talk a little bit about that tomorrow night as well. Wednesday. Let's go to Wednesday. I will be a guest host with Sam Smith on the Black and Gold podcast, special Black and Gold podcast on Wednesday night. We will be very happy to welcome in NESN analyst Adam Pellerin Wednesday night. So we're going to be filming that Wednesday afternoon. I believe we're going to try to have that out to everybody Wednesday night. That will not be on this channel, but it will be at the Black and Gold Productions YouTube, also be on Spotify and Apple. We are super excited and thrilled to have Adam join us, and looking forward to that. So, yeah, busy week coming up for myself. We haven't even dropped the damn puck yet, and it's busy, but it's great. It's fun. Looking forward to it. Jeremy Swayman signed the contract. Just take this. Let's do this. Take the pen. 8 times 8. And let's just sign it. Let's go and play hockey. That's my thought. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for all your support. I hope you all have a lovely, lovely Monday evening. And until next time, be kind, show love, and God bless.